Hi guys, welcome to the Oddspedia channel. Less than 2 months later, we have the Premier League back. Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, Aubameyang, Havertz, all the stars are waiting for you. Who will win the title this year? Let's analyze the outright odds, the top 4, who can be relegated to the Champions League, and of course the first week of games now. Another summer passed, European football is in crisis, but not the Premier League. The best competition in the world is even better this year. More stars arrived to the UK like Havertz, Werner, Rodrigo Moreno, Ferran Torres, Van de Beek. Even the newly promoted teams like Leeds or Fulham made really good signings, and they are gonna be really competitive this season. So let's see the favorites now to win the Premier League and the odds. And I'm very surprised, to be honest. I don't know you. Manchester City are really big favorites, 170 odds. It's easy for them to improve last season performance, but I don't see them much better than Liverpool, to be honest. And they only signed Nathan Ake from Bournemouth and Ferran Torres from Valencia. And Guardiola will miss a lot Leroy Sané or David Silva. For instance, they lost against Lyon in the Champions League, so their expectations are really high for the citizens to win the title this year. I would say that for me, Liverpool are still the favorites. There are no signs to think that their performance will drop this year dramatically. They were absolutely great last season, and I'm surprised to see that the odds to win the Premier League are 3.10. Their squad is basically the same. They signed Tsimikas from Olympiacos, and Lovren, for instance, is gone. But they still have Jurgen Klopp, so I would trust Liverpool again this season. It might not be this season a two-horse race, because we also have Chelsea. I think it's the team in Europe with the best signings this summer. Havertz, Werner, Chilwell, Ziyech, Sarr, Thiago Costa. Wow, what a list! And they even kept N'Golo Kante, for instance. Let's say how Lampard can manage this team. His odds to win the Premier League is 11.0. And I don't think they are going to be able to fight for the Champions League, but we also have Man United. Odds are 15.0, and they have Van de Beek as their best signing. And that leads us to another interesting market to talk about. Who is going to be in the top 4 this season? As you can see, Man City and Liverpool are taken, of course, for granted to go to the next Champions League. And for the bookies, Man United has even more chances than Chelsea. But these 4 teams are really favorites. But be careful with Arsenal. I really think this year they can finally bring some happiness to the supporters. Arteta is doing an amazing job in just few months with 2 titles, FA Cup and Community Shield. So why they now can finish in the top 4? They also signed Willian. And this is a good bet. It's 3.75 for them to finish in the top 4. And then we have Tottenham with 4.0. I think they also can battle here, and Wolves are more favorite than Leicester City, for instance. Odds for the Foxes are 9.0. And last season they were in the top 4 the whole year. Everton with Ancelotti and James Rodriguez odds are 17.0. And finally, we also have the relegation battle. Leeds have a very interesting project with Bielsa, and they made huge signings with Rodrigo Moreno, for instance, Valencia's and Spanish national team striker, and Elder Costa from Wolverhampton. Actually, their odds to be relegated again are from 4.50. It could be a disaster after so many years waiting to play in the top level. West Brom and Fulham favorites to go back to the championship. So we have West Brom 2.0 and also Fulham with the same odds. The truth is that Fulham, last time they were in the Premier League, they were completely a disaster. They got relegated immediately. I hope they learn from their mistakes with Scott Parker as the boss. And West Brom, they have a good coach also, Bilic, but it's true that they didn't sign really good players. The other Birmingham team, Aston Villa, have 2.75 odds after their last year. They almost got relegated. We have also Burnley here, but we should trust Sindich to keep the team out of the red zone. And Palace might suffer this year, 3.25 odds for the South London team. And we have to keep a close eye to Brighton or Sheffield United, although both had really good seasons last year. And if you enjoyed these videos, please subscribe to our channel and do not forget to click on the bell to get notifications whenever we publish new videos. Also, thumbs up for the video if you love it. Just a reminder, we have a Spotify podcast. You can listen to all our videos, the link is below. And now let's check the odds for the games in the first weekend, and we can check the best odds on oddspedia.com. And the opening game this season is Fulham Arsenal, a London derby at Craven Cottage, my favorite stadium in the Premier League, to be honest. So, as you can see in the odds here, the normal thing would be, of course, a victory for Arsenal. Odds are okay, I would say, with 1.71. Arsenal, remember, just won the Community Shield and they play against a newly promoted team. So I think we should expect a Gunner victory here. Then later on we have Crystal Palace Southampton. I don't see Crystal Palace making a great season this year, although they made a very good pre-season, I have to say. And they face Southampton, always a competitive team. As we can see on oddspedia.com, odds are high for every outcome, but I like the draw here. And on Saturday, we have the champions debut facing Leeds. So yeah, Liverpool-Leeds, the most interesting game on the weekend, I would say, with Leeds coming back to the Premier League after 16 years. So, one of the clubs with more supporters in England, finally they can enjoy the Premier League again, but their debut is gonna be very tough, of course. Liverpool lost the Community Shield in the penalty shootout, and for sure they want to start the competition with their rightful, and the logical thing would be a victory for clubsmen. As you can see, the odds are really low, 1.31. So having Bielsa and Klopp on the pitch, over 2.5, 153 and over 3.5, I think is a good idea. Actually, I like a lot this over 3.5 odds are really high. And Saturday we also have West Ham Newcastle. Interesting one, I would say. Hammers fans were really disappointed last year. It was a terrible season for them and they almost were relegated. Let's see Moyes' first full season in East London, but I'm not really convinced about them. And we have Newcastle's Steve Bruce, another team I'm not really convinced about their performance. So we see here really high odds for both outcomes. Not sure actually about this one. And moving forward to Sunday, we have West Brom Leicester City. The Foxes ended the season terribly and will look to start this one as well as they did last season. They visit a newly promoted team, so I like the odds, 2.03 for the victory of the Foxes. And then we have Tottenham Everton or Mourinho Ancelotti. Very interesting game, this one. The most level one of the weekend, I would say, and direct rivals to fight for the European spots. Two giants on the benches, and very curious also to see these two teams this year, especially Everton with James Rodriguez, a player that I like a lot. Tottenham is really favorite, but I wouldn't trust them actually, and I would put some money on Everton here. I think the odds for Everton, 4.50, are really appealing, are really high, and they have a chance, I would say, to win at White Hart Lane. And then for Monday we have Sheffield United, Wolverhampton, a clash with two surprises last year, and because they were all fighting to get a spot in the Europa League at the end of the season. Here we see high odds for both teams, but I like the under 2.5 goals market with 1.54 odds. These two teams are really defensively, so I think this is a good bet. And finally, we have Brighton Chelsea. I'm really looking forward to seeing Lampard's team again. I expect a lot about the Blues this season, especially with the new signings. I like a lot Werner and Ziyech. So here I like the victory of Chelsea odds. We have 1.74 against Brighton, especially because Brighton at home last season were really poor. Since November, only 2 victories at the American Express Stadium. So let's trust Chelsea here. And these are all the games we have for the weekend, because remember, Burnley, Man United and Man City, Aston Villa are postponed because the Manchester teams played the last rounds of the European competitions last year. So a lot of action, a lot of good games. We have Chelsea, we have Liverpool, we have Ancelotti versus Mourinho. A lot of enjoyment for the first weekend of the Premier League. And you can check always the best odds and results in oddspedia.com. I really hope we have fun this weekend, especially with these Liverpool Leeds and Tottenham Everton. I will watch those 2 games for sure. So let me know who is your favorite to grab the title this year and who you see being relegated to the championship. Do you also believe, like I do, like Liverpool is gonna win again the Premier League? Well, let me know and we will talk again very soon.